This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for this Sunday, August 6th. This is actually an updated briefing from our earlier morning version. Made some slight changes. Look at our fire potential impacts for today. This area in the red, where we do expect a mix of wet and dry lightning, will be our primary concern as it starts shifting northwards. Further south, we do see mainly wet showers and thunderstorms are occurring over mainly more moist fuels. We do see on Monday that this area of mixed dry and wet lightning expands northwards and eastwards, wetter further south, and we'll have lingering showers, but not as widespread and more on the wetter side with higher humidity as we head on into Tuesday. Looking at lightning yesterday, we did have some coverage across our southern areas, did start creeping up a bit into portions of northwestern Nevada. Not as widespread though, just a handful of strikes through here, but we do expect to see this activity picking up and expanding. Here's precipitation on the left-hand side over the past 24 hours. Great Basin fire activity, new starts in the red, existing fires in the yellow. Larger circles indicate larger fire activity. So overall light initial attacks so far, but that could change with the lightning later today. Observed precipitation both the past 7 days and the past 14 days shows that drier than normal signal across a good portion of Idaho and our northern Nevada, northwest Utah areas, otherwise more moist as you head further to the south. The RCs follow that pathway with 80th to 90th and even some 97th percentiles, portions of northern Idaho and into northwestern Nevada as well. You can see how much more moist our fuels are as you head into our southern areas. In the lighter fuels, grass and brush, the 100-hour fuels sometimes are more accurate representation of what's going on. We can see those critical values here in the red across northern Nevada, northwest Utah, and portions of southwest and south central Idaho. Looking at our live fuel moistures, they've come in line recently, especially up in Idaho. The 1,000-hour fuels are drier than normal, so things can get going there very easily. Elsewhere, across southwest Idaho and portions of western Nevada, see our live fuels are near normal levels, have dried out, so they don't have to be below normal, but just being near normal this time of year in August, they are no longer an inhibitor, they are an enhancer of fire activity. Some choice ERCs up here in our furthest northern and western areas of Idaho. You can see we are at record level ERCs. Also looking portions of southeast Idaho also approaching record levels, and also portions of north central Nevada also above normal and starting to approach record levels as well. Here's the upper level map with satellite imagery superimposed. You can see that subtropical moisture now spreading across a good portion of Nevada, moving northwards and starting to edge into far southern Idaho and starting to approach the Utah border. This is the area of concern that we've been talking about for the last several days, with lightning becoming a bit drier as it heads further north. The big ridge of high pressure is starting to weaken now, so we see that arc of high pressure up into the Pacific Northwest. Also watching a deeper low pressure trough well upstream, which could influence our weather later in the week. And so looking at today's upper level map on the left hand side, notice this area of green here. This is subtropical moisture starting to push eastwards and northwards, inching towards southern Idaho. We don't know if the thunderstorms will get in there. It's a tricky forecast, but on the right-hand side, we indicate the best risk of high-base thunderstorms, a mix of dry and wet lightning across northwestern Nevada, and a few probably could sneak into Idaho. We don't think the coverage will be large enough to warrant higher risk, but it's something we'll watch very carefully. We'll always see the more moist conditions in our southern areas. Where the computer model thinks there'll be precipitation, it's kind of tricky here. We think there might be some thunderstorms here where precipitation will not reach the ground, so that's why we kind of forecast that. You can see here these outflow boundaries on the wind field indicate where there could be some thunderstorm activity, and some could also sneak into parts of southwestern Idaho as well. More widespread but wetter storms as you head further south and east. On Monday, notice that moisture areas here in the green start expanding northwards into Idaho, pushing a bit further to the east into Utah as well. So our high risk covers a larger portion of our area, all of our Idaho zones, portions of northern, northeastern Nevada, and northwestern Utah, where we could see a mix of dry and wet lightning and new fire starts. Fuels will support it. We've already seen the fuel situation. On Monday, we showed the precipitation on the left-hand side. And again, wettest to the south, and getting even a little bit wetter up here in parts of the higher terrain of Idaho, but a mix of dry and wet. We see that first lighter shade of green. Wind field overall pretty light, except outflow boundaries in the vicinity of thunderstorms. And then looking down the road for Tuesday, we still have lingering moisture through portions of Nevada and Utah and southeastern portions of Idaho. At this point, we don't feel like activity to be widespread enough to warrant high risk, but there could be some isolated lightning there as well. We notice fields have moistened up a little bit after a couple of days of higher humidity and scattered showers in a few spots. So that's something we're keeping an eye on. Our situation on the precipitation on the left-hand side, winds on the right staying fairly light. And then looking at the 3-day precipitation accumulation, you can see our heaviest amounts, almost an inch of rain. We see the blue across the main chain of the Wasatch and down into the southern Utah mountains and curving back towards Ely. It's this northern fringe area that we are most concerned with the mix of dry and wet lightning. Further down the road as we go into Wednesday, a little trough of low pressure here, bringing another wave of disturbances. We'll have to monitor this. Right now we're not going for high risk. Here we do have it in some of our neighboring geographic areas. Fuels have moistened quite a bit across us. That's the difference, whereas these areas to our north and west have stayed drier. On Thursday, that moisture pushes into parts of Idaho. Notice this drier punch of air pushing into our southwestern areas. That's something we'll start seeing some of these zones transition from green to yellow. We see that over here down south as we go into Friday and even into Saturday. These zones start drying out again as drier air punches in. The monsoon takes a vacation, gets suppressed well to the south. It'll take a couple of days for it to recharge and have any chance of moving back further north. Precipitation over the next 7 days. You can see through here basically our best chances will be in our southern areas. And the extended forecast, the 8 to 14 day outlook, again we're showing above normal temperatures, but not too far above across most of our area, and near normal precipitation. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.